Legs, knees, toes. These are the things that get cut with a chainsaw, because a chainsaw is most often used below your waist. Item 1, wear boots, wear leather boots. Those are in their own way as important as chaps. A leather boot will be cut by a chain, but it's a good way to at least absorb the first part of the damage. Chaps, cover the patella, the knees. Look how easy it is for a chainsaw to come in contact with your knees. You get tired, your hand slips off, bam, it's in your leg. One of the quickest ways to die is to cut your femoral artery. You've got giant arterial passageways in your legs, come right through your groin, down the inside of your thigh. If you cut those with your chainsaw, you're going to pump out in a hurry. That's why these chaps are important. They'll protect your knees, they'll protect your thighs, and these are the areas that are most likely to be cut. If you've got to walk with a chainsaw that's running, swing it around, put it against your left hip, and move forward. You see that? That way, if I trip and fall on a branch or a piece of firewood and the saw goes down, the bar lands behind me rather than in front. If I'm working and I need to climb up on this pile of wood, I'm not going to climb up with the chainsaw held in front of me. I'm going to put it against my hip and walk like this. You see that? If I lose my balance, at least the bar and the chain is behind my direction of travel. This introduces two ways to think about the chain brake. Now, we mentioned this last time. You can think of this like an airbag on your car, or you can think about it like a safety on your gun. So if you are around other people and you think maybe there's a little kid or a dog or somebody that you can't quite anticipate, your saw is running, just engage the chain brake. You know nobody's going to get hurt like that. If it feels good to you, you can think about doing that when you walk with the saw. I don't put the lid down on the toilet either, so I'm not going to do that when I'm walking through the brush. But it is the same as an airbag on your car, that when the problem happens, it can help you. If you're new to chainsaws, there's a couple ways that you need to be thinking about starting your saw. Start it on the ground. You choke it if it needs it. You put your toe in the handle. You put the chain brake on. You start it. See that again? Drop starting a saw. Controversial. It's something that no one should try if you're afraid to try it. It's something no one should try if you're not familiar with a saw and the dynamics around a spinning chain and what can happen. But if you've ever worked in the woods, particularly in big timber on rough ground, you're going to know from first-hand experience, not by asking Google, that sometimes when you're walking down a log to limit, you can find yourself 8 or 10 or 20 feet off the ground. You can find yourself over a mashed down mat of brush, vine maple and blackberries and ferns and dogwood and laurel and fill in the blank, that can be feet deep or yards deep. You can find yourself walking out to buck the end off a log where if you fall off of there, it's going to take you an hour to dig your way back to where you dropped your saw. So in a case like that, if your saw quits, how are you going to get down on the ground and start it and comply with OSHA safety specs? I have no answer for you on that, so you need to know how to start your saw like a man. One of the advantages to starting the saw on the ground for, I don't know, 400 or 500 times until you know what the compression feels like, you know how fast to pull it, you know where on the pull start the motor's going to begin to run, you know how to get your hand back down to the throttle to control it, you know how to get your hand back down to the switch to kill it. Until you get that level of sort of muscle memory and familiarity, you probably better not even think about doing a drop start. But when that comes, you begin to understand that it's a combination of lifting on the rope and dropping the saw. See that? It's a combination of lifting on the rope and dropping the saw. If you want to engage the chain brake, now a saw like this, I'm in the woods, I can't get to the ground. I have no choice but to start it with a drop start. But if I'm on a log and the tip of the saw is down first anyway, or it's flooded, so I have to turn the carburetor over on its side to clear the flood, I do not recommend you drop start it. You're going to find yourself in a situation where you're going to need to know how, so figure that out for yourself. You can draw reassurance from safety manuals. You can identify safety programs and corporate training programs as the gospel of safety protocol if you want, but it's still only your brain that's going to keep you alive.